This is an interesting one. I want to get your thoughts on Warner Brothers' decision to reject Paramount's bid. And to be clear, they're asking their shareholders to turn their backs on Paramount's all-cash bid. A vote comes in January. Do you think there's any chance of a January surprise? What's at stake?
Yeah, so Netflix offers a single vector headwind, and therefore both deals are going to be controversial. But the Netflix proposal is much cleaner. It's a what's involved is a proposal for vertical integration, and therefore Warner Brothers to their board, they find that to be much more appealing, even though the total dollar value may be lower. It's just a cleaner a situation. Whereas the Paramount proposal, there are multiple vectors, multiple headwinds that have significant political, ideological risks. There are serious regulatory concerns. Also, the financing of the proposal is very complex.
Okay, talk about how Paramount is reacting so far, and what about Netflix? What happens next? And I understand that the president's son-in-law, who his firm did have a hand in the financing, kind of pulled out at the 11th hour.
Yeah, Paramount, the Paramount bid obviously is the hostile bid. It's attempting to sway Warner shareholders directly over above their board's heads, and so there is that hostile nature of it. They are pushing back and saying that the Netflix deal is inferior. However, the issue is that if the Netflix deal doesn't go through, that doesn't make the Paramount deal any more conducive. In fact, from just looking at the matter objectively, the Paramount deal has multiple vectors, multiple problems that have to be resolved before a deal can be signed.
Yeah. Now there are a lot of moving parts in this. Kind of break down the important assets that Warner's has.
Sure. Well, from Warner's perspective, they have essentially it breaks down into a good problem and a bad problem, and the thing about Warner is that they're concentrating on their studios, their streaming assets. That is the core strength of the business, and that's exactly why they prefer the Netflix deal, simply because this allows vertical integration of the strengths of Warner. And then on the other hand, Warner has the linear the TV side, and that is the dying business model that they want to spin off and let it be its own entity. A lot of people might think that combining a strong entity and a weak entity would help bring the collective entity higher. But usually what happens in the capital markets is that the weaker entity tends to drag down the stronger one, and it causes capital misallocation. And so Warner wants to have a cleaner exit of the linear TV business model. That's why the board itself is pushing so strongly for the Netflix deal.
Talk, if you will, about what's at stake of this, because Netflix has this amazing streaming entity. Paramount makes films, so there's a certain degree of loggerheads there. And we heard one Hollywood producer, powerful Hollywood producer, talk about the fact, look, there are only 4 entities out there that do this right now, and we're running the risk of fewer and fewer and fewer. I mean, it's clear it's going to make it more difficult to get movies made.
Yeah, that's the issue that's at stake here. As I said earlier, the Netflix proposal is about vertical integration. With Paramount, it's more horizontal integration. I believe for regulators, that's going to be more problematic because you have a very few major movie studios, suddenly that's going to be fewer opportunities for everybody in an industry that's already declining. Also, there are political concerns in terms of the broadcasting, because suddenly you will have CNN and CBS. There will be essentially adjacent roles, and for regulators, both domestically and internationally, especially in Europe, there's going to be concerns about journalistic independence and journalistic integrity.
If they were under the Paramount umbrella.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so let's talk about President Trump weighing in on this as well. And secondly, what would a merger involve Warner Brothers mean for consumers and their access to content?
Yeah, that's one of the tricky issues with President Trump getting so involved, along with many of Trump allies, or at one point Trump's son-in-law
Right.
being involved with the deal. There are concerns about conflicts of interest. And in terms of, for the consumer, on the consumer end, there naturally, when you have these major mergers, the combined entity is going to enjoy immediate purchasing power, and that is going to present problems to the consumer, especially under this sensitive economic circumstances.